sewers twist like veins of a forgotten beast. A primal terror lurks in the dark. The legend of the sewer alligators, born from whispered tales of unorthodox sightings, is no mere myth, but a nightmare that slithers through the city's underbelly. The air down there is rancid, thick with the stench of decay and something alive, something that watches from the shadows with eyes like cold, wet stones. The story begins decades ago, when pet alligators, bought as exotic novelties, grew too large for their owners' whims. Flushed down toilets or abandoned in drains, they were thought to perish in the city's bowels. But the sewers, a labyrinth of filth and shadow, birthed something else. Fed on rats, refuse, and perhaps darker things, these creatures thrived, their bodies swelling to monstrous sizes, their scales hardened by the toxic mire. Some say they're no longer mere reptiles, but something cursed, mutated by the city's sins, their hunger insatiable. At night, when the city's hum fades, the sewers growl. Maintenance workers speak of glimpses, massive forms gliding through sludge, tails thrashing with deliberate menace. Their eyes, glowing yellow in torchlight, hold a cunning no beast should possess. The tunnels echo with low, guttural hisses, or worse, a scraping, as claws longer than knives carve warnings into concrete. Those who venture too deep hear splashes too heavy, too close, and feel a presence that makes the heart stutter. The tales are chilling. A worker, inspecting a blocked pipe, vanished, his screams swallowed by the dark, his helmet found floating in bloody water. Teens daring the tunnels on a bet fled, one less than they began, their friend's fate marked by a trail of claw marks. Some claim the alligators emerge, slipping through manholes to hunt in alleys, their jaws snapping shut on stray dogs, or the unwary. A homeless man, camping near a grate, woke to find his leg gone, the stump cauterized by teeth too precise. New Yorkers dismiss the legend, but the sewers know the truth. Manhole covers shift at night, and storm drains gurgle with sounds no pipe could make. The creatures are set to guard at their domain, attacking those who intrude. Workers, explorers, or fools seeking proof. Some whisper they're drawn to fear, their jaws sensing the pulse of panic. Others believe they're vengeful, spawned by the city's neglect, claiming lives as payment for their exile. If you walk New York streets, where the ground hums with secrets, avoid the grates that steam in the dark. Ignore the splash beneath the sidewalk, the glint of eyes in the gutter. Do not linger near open manholes, for the sewer alligators are no mere urban tale. They are the city's hidden predators, its subterranean wrath. In the tunnel's eternal night, they wait, their hunger a pulse that matches the city's own, ready to drag the careless into a darkness from which no scream escapes.
Between rooftops with impossible agility, witnesses claimed it had glowing red eyes that burned like embers in the dark. Its body was covered in thick, matted fur, and its long, clawed fingers could tear through flesh like paper. Some described its movements as erratic, half human, half monkey, while others swore it vanished into thin air the moment it was pursued. The attacks came swiftly and without warning. Victims awoke to find deep scratches on their backs, as if some unseen predator had marked them while they slept. Others reported being chased through the narrow alleyways, only to hear eerie, guttural growls behind them. A few, in their blind panic, leaped from balconies in a desperate bid to escape. Some survived with broken bones. Others were not so lucky. Panic gripped the city. The police patrolled the streets, but their flashlights revealed nothing but empty air. The media fanned the flames, painting the monkey man as a phantom predator that fed on fear itself. Mass hysteria took hold. Mobs roamed the streets, wielding sticks and iron rods, attacking anything that moved in the shadows. A homeless man was beaten to death, mistaken for the demon. Fear twisted reality. People saw the monkey man even when it wasn't there. Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, the creature vanished. The reports stopped. The scratches faded. The nightmares retreated into memory. Some claimed it had never existed at all, that it was nothing more than collective delusion, a city driven mad by its own paranoia. But even now, on restless nights, some still whisper of the monkey man of Delhi. Some say it still watches from the rooftops, waiting for the right moment to return. And if you listen closely, in the dead of night, you might just hear the soft patter of clawed feet above your head. The road stretched out, a ribbon of black cutting through the desolate landscape. The hum of the engine, the rhythmic swoosh of the wipers against the rain-streaked windshield, the only sounds in the oppressive silence of the night. A woman drove alone, the miles ticking by, each one taking her further into the heart of darkness. A prickle of unease ran down her spine, a sense of being watched, of being followed. A pair of headlights appeared in her rearview mirror, growing larger, closer. The car behind her, a dark, indistinct shape, began to tailgate, its high beams flashing intermittently, blinding her with bursts of light. Fear, cold and sharp, gripped her heart. She pressed down on the accelerator, desperate to put distance between herself and her pursuer. The car behind her matched her speed, its high beams flashing again, a persistent, menacing presence. She swerved, trying to shake off her pursuer, but the dark car followed, its presence growing more insistent, more threatening. Terror clawed at her throat, choking off her breath. She gripped the steering wheel, her knuckles white, her heart pounding against her ribs. Finally, she reached her driveway, the familiar glow of her porch light, a beacon in the darkness. She fumbled with her keys, her hands trembling, desperate to get inside, to escape the menacing presence behind her. As she reached for the door handle, the car behind her stopped, its headlights illuminating her car, its high beams flashing one last time. A figure emerged from the pursuing car, a dark silhouette against the headlights. He approached her slowly, his face obscured by shadows. Terror choked her, her scream trapped in her throat. The figure leaned closer, his voice a low whisper. "Check your back seat." She turned, her blood running cold. A shadowy figure lurked in the back, its eyes gleaming in the darkness. The figure in the driveway spoke again, his voice now filled with urgency. "I saw him get in at the last gas station. I tried to warn you." The shadowy figure in the back lunged.
choked nights along Niles Canyon Road. Drivers tell of a girl in white standing alone by the roadside. Her face is pale, her eyes hollow with sorrow. If you stop, she quietly asks for a ride home. She shivers, damp and cold, but as you near the bridge, she fades, vanishing into nothingness. She never makes it home. She never will. For decades they've seen her, and if you drive that road at midnight, you might see her too. In the forsaken stretches of Angola, New York, where Holland Road twists through gnarled woods, a darkness festers. The locals call it Pigman Road, a name that curdles the blood of those who know its tale. Under the moon's sickly glow, the air grows thick with a stench of rot and dread, and the wind carries whispers of a butcher whose cruelty stains the earth itself. Decades ago, he lived there, a hulking figure, his apron smeared with blood, his eyes glinting with a madness no man could name. To guard his decrepit home, he staked the severed heads of pigs along the road, their lifeless eyes staring from rotting skulls. The grotesque totems swayed in the breeze, a warning to any who dared trespass. But the butcher's savagery ran deeper than mere intimidation. One night, a stranger, a drifter, some say, crossed his path. No one knows what sparked the butcher's rage, but the man's fate was sealed. Dragged to the shop's dank depths, he was strung up on a rusted meat hook, his screams muffled by the walls, his body tangled, a grotesque trophy, until the earth swallowed his remains. Now the butcher is gone, but Pigman Road is not at peace. The forest itself seems to breathe malice, its shadows twisting into shapes no eye should see. Drivers speak of headlights, catching glimpses of pig heads, freshly staked, their jaws dripping gore. Others swear they've seen a figure, massive, aproned, wielding a cleaver that gleams in the dark, lurking at the road's edge. His face is a ruin, half human, half swine, with eyes that burn through the soul. Some say he's the butcher's spirit, cursed to roam. Others believe he never died, sustained by some unholy pact. At night the road grows treacherous. Engines sputter without cause, and radios spit static laced with guttural snarls. Those foolish enough to walk the path report footsteps crunching behind them, too heavy, too close. The brave who venture to the abandoned shop find it untouched by time. Bloodstains cross the floor, and hooks sway as if stirred by an unseen hand. Some claim to hear a low, wet grunt, or feel a breath reeking of slaughter on their neck. The locals avoid Pigman Road after dusk. They warn of disappearances, hunters, teens, wanderers, vanished without a trace, their fates etched in the butcher's legacy. Offerings of salt and iron are left at the road's mouth, futile pleas for protection. Yet the pigman's hunger endures, his cleaver ever sharp. If you must drive that cursed stretch, keep your windows up and your gaze forward. Ignore the thump against your car, the shadow in your mirror. For the pigman is no mere legend. He is the road's keeper, its butcher, its devourer. And on Holland Road, the meat hook waits, cold and empty, for its next guest.
The hanging munchkin became an urban legend, whispered about by fans of the film, who believed that the ghost of the actor still lingered, forever trapped in the frames of the movie. However, Snopes.com debunked the legend, tracing the figure to a much more mundane origin. Instead of a suicide, the mysterious shape was likely one of several large birds that had been allowed to roam the set. The birds Its wings, spread wide in the background, created the illusion of a hanging figure, a trick of the light and angle that fueled the myth. Despite the truth, the legend persists. Some still claim that when watching the film late at night, they catch a glimpse of the hanging munchkin, the shadow of a tragedy that never truly happened, but has haunted the film's legacy all the same. In the silent, eerie halls of African boarding schools, a chilling presence is said to roam the dark corridors, her steps echoing like a sinister heartbeat. She is Madame Koi Koi, the ghostly figure of a woman whose haunting legend strikes fear into the hearts of students across the continent. The story goes that Madame Koi Koi was once a beautiful teacher, known for her elegance and her striking red high heels, but beneath her poised exterior lay a dark and vengeful soul. According to the legend, she was cruel to her students, punishing them mercilessly for even the smallest mistakes. One fateful day, her harshness led to a confrontation with students or staff, and the encounter ended in tragedy. Some say she was pushed to her death, her red heels clattering down the stairs as her screams faded into silence. But death did not silence Madame Koi Koi. Her restless spirit lingers, haunting the places where she once walked. At night, students claim to hear the unmistakable click-clack, click-clack of her red heels echoing through empty dormitory halls or school bathrooms. The sound grows louder, closer, as if she's hunting for those who dare remain awake or wander alone. Day schools are not spared from her wrath. Madame Koi Koi is said to haunt students who arrive too early or linger too late, her ghostly figure appearing in toilets or empty classrooms, her one remaining red heel glinting ominously in the dim light. Her vengeance is swift and silent. Some students claim to have felt her icy grip, while others report the sight of her disfigured face, her expression twisted with rage and sorrow. No one knows what she truly seeks: revenge, redemption, or simply a victim to share her eternal torment. To this day, students whisper warnings: never walk the halls alone at night, and if you hear the haunting click-clack of Madame Koi Koi's heels, run, for she is always watching, always waiting.
part of Richmond, Virginia, where Churchill Tunnel burrows like a vein beneath the earth, a malevolence stirs. The Richmond vampire, whispered as the Hollywood vampire, haunts the crumbling stone of the tunnel and the moonlit graves of Hollywood Cemetery. Its name is a blade in the night, slicing through the courage of those who dare tread its domain. The air grows thick with dread, heavy with the scent of damp earth, and something fouler, something hungry. The legend clings to 1925, when the Churchill Tunnel collapsed, swallowing workers in a tomb of rubble and ruin. Among them was Benjamin Mosby, a railway man whose fate birthed the horror. Some say he crawled from the wreckage, burned and broken, his face a grotesque mask, only to die in the tunnel's mouth. Others swear he never emerged as a man at all, but as something else, a creature with eyes like blood, his flesh pale as bone, his fangs gleaming in the dark. The tunnel, sealed after the disaster, became his lair, and Hollywood Cemetery, with its ancient oaks and silent tombs, his hunting ground. By night, the vampire prowls, his footsteps echo in the sealed tunnel, a hollow rhythm that seeps into the city above. Those who venture near the cemetery gates speak of a figure in tattered workman's clothes, his face obscured, gliding through the mist. His gaze is a weight draining warmth from the living, and its hiss, a sound like steam escaping a grave, promises no mercy. Some claim it feeds on blood, leaving victims pale and lifeless, their throats marred by wounds no beast could make. Others say it craves fear, savouring the panic of those who feel its presence. The stories fester. A groundskeeper, locking the cemetery gates, vanished, his lantern found shattered, the earth around it clawed. Teens daring the tunnel's entrance heard laughter, low and guttural, from within its sealed depths. Lights flicker in the cemetery, and gravestones shift, as if the dead themselves recoil from the vampire's dread. Some believe it's Mosby, cursed by the tunnel's collapse, his soul twisted into a predator. Others whisper of an older evil drawn to the tragedy, wearing his name like a mask. Richmond's folk avoid the tunnel's shadow and shun the cemetery after dusk. No offering sates this creature, no prayer binds it. If you walk by Hollywood Cemetery, where the air grows cold and the oaks seem to whisper, keep your eyes down. Ignore the rustle in the fog, the glint of red in the dark. For the Richmond vampire is no mere legend. It is the tunnel's wrath, the cemetery's hunger, a thing of blood and shadow that watches, waits, and feeds on those who linger in its cursed domain.
The street was truly haunted by a force beyond this world. Even today, the Enfield poltergeist stands as one of the most disturbing cases of supernatural activity, a dark chapter in London's history that lingers in the shadows, a warning that some spirits do not rest easily. In the dark corners of Chicago's streets, there's a chilling tale that has haunted the city since 1991. A story of a clown, not the jolly kind with painted smiles and squeaky shoes, but a twisted, murderous figure who terrorised the very neighbourhoods where laughter once echoed. This is the legend of Homie the Clown, a name that sends shivers through anyone who remembers the whispers of that time. It was said that Homie the Clown wasn't just another entertainer dressed in a garish costume, but a dangerous south side. With a face painted in grotesque, exaggerated features, wide, maniacal eyes, a permanent grin twisted into something far more sinister, he was not there to entertain, but to instill fear. His clown persona was a mask, hiding the true monster underneath. The urban legend began innocently enough. Children in the neighbourhood, curious and naive, spoke of a strange figure in the streets, an unsettling clown who roamed at night, offering candy and small trinkets to those who dared approach him. But there was always something off about Homie. His gifts, while seemingly benign, were laced with an aura of danger. No one ever seemed to see him leave, and those who ventured too close to his eerie, silent figure would never be seen again. Over time, Homie's legend grew darker. The tales started to merge with real-life disappearances, and soon a sense of dread fell over the area. The clown wasn't just a shadowy figure anymore. He had become something far worse. A serial killer hiding in plain sight. People began to believe that Homie would stalk his victims, sometimes luring them into his van with promises of candy, only to disappear into the night with them, never to be heard from again. In the years that followed, rumours of Homie the Clown began to spread. They spoke of him preying on children, his sharp, jagged teeth hidden behind his painted smile. Others claimed that he would disappear into the fog, his haunting laugh echoing long after he had gone. But no one knew who he truly was. Or if he was even real, was he just a story told to keep kids in line? Or had the city truly been haunted by a killer clown, a predator who used the innocence of childhood to hide his monstrous deeds? To this day, the legend of Homie the Clown persists. Many dismiss it as a myth or an exaggerated story, but there are those who still believe that somewhere in the dark alleys and hidden streets of Chicago, Homie is waiting. And for those who still wander too far into the night, they might just hear the faintest, most unsettling sound, the laughter of a clown, too twisted to be anything but a nightmare. In the forgotten corners of Kansas, hidden deep in the eerie silence of Stoll Cemetery, lies a dark secret, one that should never be sought but forever lingers. The legend speaks of an ancient, crumbling church that once stood here, now reduced to rubble, its remnants buried beneath the weight of time and neglect. But beneath the wreckage, something far more sinister still endures, a set of stairs that lead into the earth, hidden from view, yet said to open into the very depths of hell. Every year, on Halloween night and the spring equinox, the veil between this world and the next grows thin, and the gates of hell are said to crack open. It is on these cursed nights that the stairs, once part of the old church, are said to reveal their true purpose, serving as a direct passage to the other side. Those who venture too close report an unnatural cold, a weight in the air that presses down on their chest, and an oppressive silence that seems to swallow all sound. The stories are chilling. Some claim to have seen shadows move at the edge of their vision, whispers from unseen voices calling them forward, urging them to descend. But none are foolish enough to go further. Many who have dared to approach speak of the heavy, suffocating presence that lingers near the steps, a force that watches from the dark. And though the church is long gone, the legend persists. For in the dead of night, when the moon is hidden and the air turns thick with dread, the stairs to hell are said to open, waiting for those who are brave or cursed enough to glimpse what lies beyond. But be warned, once you look into that darkness, it might never let you go. realms of rural lore, where the line between jest and truth blurs, the legend of cow tipping haunts the fields and farmyards. Said to be a moonlit escapade for thrill-seeking youths, this bizarre activity involves the stealthy approach towards an unsuspecting cow, fast asleep standing upright in the darkness, and the sudden, forceful shove to topple the massive beast over for mere sport. But beyond the surface of this seemingly harmless prank lies a more chilling narrative, whispered among those who know the countryside's true face after dark. As the legend goes, in a secluded farming community, enveloped by the embrace of ancient woods and forgotten roads, cow tipping became more than just a reckless pastime. It morphed into a ritual of fear. The teens of this town, driven by boredom and the intoxicating rush of defiance, would venture out into the fields under the guise of night, their laughter slicing through the silence like a cold wind. But there was one night that turned their mischievous jaunt into a nightmare. As the group approached a familiar pasture, the moon hung low and ominous, bathing everything in a ghostly silver hue. The cows stood like monolithic statues in the mist, their breath forming clouds in the crisp air. Emboldened by the eerie night, the teens singled out a large, shadowy figure at the edge of the field. With a mix of exhilaration and alcohol-fueled bravado, they crept up to the sleeping cow. However, as they laid their hands on the creature, ready to push, the cow did not budge. Instead, it slowly turned its head, revealing not the docile eyes of a farm animal, but the glowing red orbs of a creature from deeper shadows. The teens froze, their hearts pounding as the cow, or the thing that masqueraded as one, rose unnaturally on its hind legs, towering over them with a menacing presence. Panic erupted as the creature chased them through the fields, its form blurring between beast and spectre, its bellows a grotesque parody of bovine grunts mixed with something far older and angrier. The youths scattered, screaming into the night, forever marked by the terror of what they had provoked. Those who returned spoke little of the incident, their eyes haunted by the memory. The story spread, a cautionary tale whispered around campfires and during late-night gatherings. Cow tipping was no longer seen as a harmless challenge, but as a dare with potentially dire consequences. To this day, the fields at the edge of that town remain untouched at night, the cows left to their peaceful slumber. For the locals know that some rural myths are better left untested, and that disturbing the natural order can awaken things best left asleep in the darkness. In the dead of night, there's a number whispered among those brave, or foolish, enough to try. 999-9999. According to the legend, if you dial this number after midnight, an eerie voice on the other end will answer, ready to grant your deepest, darkest wish. But there's a catch. Whatever you ask for will come true, but your life will be the price. The legend has it that the voice on the other end is patient, almost amused, as if it's heard countless desperate pleas before. You might hear soft breathing or the faint sound of something shifting, waiting for you to speak your desire. Ask for fame, fortune, or revenge, and it's granted, swift and precise. But the moment your wish is fulfilled, your fate is sealed. Witnesses claim that people who dared to make the call found themselves in strange, terrifying accidents shortly after, as if some unseen force had come to collect their due. Stories tell of a girl who dialed the number to become the most popular student in school. She achieved her wish, but within days she was found dead under mysterious circumstances, her phone lying beside her with 9999999 still on the screen. Another tale recounts a young man who asked for unimaginable wealth, only to be discovered lifeless in his luxury apartment just days later, the phone's last call pointing to that same cursed number. In 2002, the legend inspired a horror film, 9999999, where the cursed number brings terror to those who dare to test its power. Even today, some thrill seekers and skeptics dial 9999999 after midnight, hoping to prove the legend false. But As the silence stretches on and the dial tone fades, some swear they hear a faint voice, asking softly, "What is your wish?"